Well, good morning, everyone. It is Thursday. I know, I'm a day late. But, life just gets in the way. Jenna's birthday was Monday. We celebrated it with her on Sunday. So I lost a day, crochet-wise. But we had a great time. Had a nice dinner. Had some ice cream cake. With her birthday being Monday, she had plans, so we did it a day early. So I did a few items. I worked on my sweater on Sunday because it was something that, I could stop at any point and be able to pick up where I left off and not be too concerned about it. So I had to frog out the two sides because I went all the way around on the last round and I was supposed to stop and leave the last two sides unfinished, and then that's where you connect the sleeve. So one sleeve is finished. I still think the arm is going to end up being a rather large. I don't know, maybe I should have went with the size down. We'll see. Got the cuff finished. That worked out pretty well. So I have not started the second sleeve yet because, I needed to get some work done. Fun time was over. So I got that worked on. I fixed the pug nose. I embroidered it in. And I ended up using the Mystical because, the black wouldn't have shown up. The tan wouldn't have looked right. But I think it looks okay with that. At least it can be seen. And, yeah. So he has the nose in a different placement. The pattern calls for it to go up top here. And when I looked at pictures of pugs online, it was like underneath this wrinkle, this ridge. And fortunately, or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, when I snapped the nose in, it didn't grab anything, so it came right out. I had no issues getting that out. I would have been devastated if I took it to market and it sold and then some little kid pulled it out. Yeah, so he got the eyebrows added on to the pattern, or why do I keep calling them eyebrows? They're eyelids. The eyelids I added, I put the nose in a different spot, and I think he turned out very cute. Very, very cute. So he is fixed. Was glad to get that done. I still need to fix the dinosaur eye. Anyways, eventually. So Monday, during mine and Heather's live, we did a joint live on her channel Monday. I was working on itty bitty snakes. They are saucy Puffin Crafts snake, her pattern. And I did them out of Brights, the Premier Chenille Brights and the variegated. So I have this brown one. And that created kind of an interesting stitch color pattern. So that one was a variegated. This one is a variegated. Came up with kind of a similar color pattern. And this one is a variegated, and again has pretty much that same similar color pattern. So those three, and then I did two using the tie-dye. These I really like. I like how the colors worked up on these. So don't ask me the color names. I just grabbed a couple. They don't have the bands on them anymore because they were partially used skeins, but I needed some bright, colorful snakes because I've sold them all, and all I had left are kind of like this very neutral light tan color and one yellow in Mystical. Now, I should have made more with the Mystical, but I wanted to see how they looked in those colors. So we did those. 5 snakes. Then I decided I really need to make a cookie mouse. So I made a cookie mouse. This is Nibbles the Country Mouse, and it is my pattern. This time I put his cookie off to the side. Usually I put them with him holding it in front of the body like that. But I left it off to the side this time. His little pocket is right there. He turned out a little smaller, I think, maybe. I don't know. I have such a terrible time judging size, but I think he turned out just a little bit smaller this time. So it's either the yarn or my tension, one or the other. But he's adorable. He always sells well. He is in my top 4 of sellers for the year. Number 1 being the chicken egg. But the mouse, the snakes, the myrtle, the turtles, and the chicks and eggs are my top 4. So we did nipples, and I used burlap frosting, and I believe this one is navy in the brights, caramel for the cookie, and then some chocolate parfait chunky for the chocolate chips. And I just embroider his nose using some of the Dollar Tree Just Chenille from Premier. So we did that. And then after, you make all these repeat items. My shoe just fell off. After you sit there and you make all these repeat items, you kind of, well, at least I do, kind of want to work on something new. And I like messing with new patterns. But instead of like scratching that itch, I did not go out and buy a new pattern right away. I did buy new patterns, but not right away. I pulled up an older pattern, and it is a Crochet Grove pattern. And it is her puppy pattern. And in this package, you can do a husky, a beagle, a corgi, or a retriever. Well, I chose the corgi. And it comes, you can do a bandana or a collar with a little like medallion on it. And I chose to do the bandana. I used chenille brights for this, and in mustard and antique white, and then of course poppy red for the bandana. Now this pattern I had forgotten because it's been so long since I've made one, but dogs tend to sell well. So I needed a faster kind of faster dog, but I had forgotten that there's a lot of sewing in this pattern. You have to sew on, well, you could do it standing, but I wanted sitting. You could do it standing and there is no sew on the legs. If you do it sitting, you have to sew on the legs, you have to sew on the arms, you have to sew on the head, you have to sew the ears to the head, and you have to sew the tail to the body. So I don't know if you can really see the color difference, but the paw pads is curry. In person, you can see a little bit of difference. I didn't want to use black because I thought black might just be too much. So I wanted a different color than the mustard, so I went with the curry. I think it looks all right. So I do have one of these already made, not a corgi style. I can't remember what style it is, but I had used those eyes that have the fake eyelashes on them. And for some reason, People do not like it. But the other one that I had made of these sold rather quickly. So I decided, since I was in need of some more dogs, that I would do the Crochet Grove pattern. And if it would have been a little bit faster, I would have done 2. But like I said, I forgot how much sewing was actually in this pattern. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, to make the parts are quick if you're like really in the mood, but if you're not like in the mood to crochet, if you're not in that zone, then it could be a little daunting. So we did this one, and now is where I bought some patterns. So this particular pattern I have had my eye on for at least a year, if not more. I wanted it last year for the fall market season, but as you all know, the hurricanes and the weather and everything, those markets were canceled. So I never like bit the bullet and actually bought the pattern until this week, because I'm hoping, since I have 3 markets a month, I have one last market this month for September, then October is supposed to be 3, November is supposed to be 3, and December is supposed to be 3. I am hoping that during those fall months that I'll be able to make it to at least a few of them. So I bought this scarecrow pattern. I think it's adorable. Now, I've had it favored for the longest time. I know I just said that. And because I'd had it favored for so long, I decided, let me double check and make sure that there is not, he had little nose buggers, and make sure there's not another pattern that I think I would like better. So I scanned through scarecrow patterns on Etsy, and I really did not see one that I liked better than this. So I went with this. I bought the pattern. I used chenille brights in the blue is denim. This is cranberry. I thought poppy would have been too bright of a red since it's supposed to be fall themed. Steel cut oats. You should be proud of me. I did not call it oatmeal. And caramel for the hat. A little bit of orange for the nose. And then I had to use some acrylic to make the straw part. For the most part, the pattern was kind of quick. Now, when you got to attaching all the acrylic to make the little straw fuzz, that took a little bit of time. But when you're doing this, if you take your needle and just run it through the little fringe, it will help you to separate it, and that goes much faster. And then, oops, there's a piece I need to trim. Then you just trim it up to the length that you like, and you're good to go. Now, I probably used bigger eyes than what it called for, but my yarn was thicker, so I had to guess on what size. But I think his eyes look okay. And they're just the black safety eyes. I am waiting on my new backs to come in that I ordered so I can use my sinker eyes. So you'll be seeing lots of black eyes coming up until that comes in, and I can use my other eyes without fear of the back splitting and the eyeballs falling out. So, but he is a very good size out of Brights. I'm not sure how big he would be in Parfait Chunky, but look at him. I mean, I'm probably gonna price somewhere like around 25 or 30 for this. The dog, I didn't say, is going to be 25 to 30. When I go to enter stuff in, I will know better what I'm going to charge on those. But because I don't know why, he's going to be somewhere between 25 and 30. I think. Then I'm charging my lights. I'm watching to see if they're red or green to know when they're done. Usually I do it on Wednesday, but I just wasn't motivated. Mama Kitty went missing for a couple days, and that's all I could think about. I kept walking around the yard trying to see if I could find her, hoping that nothing bad happened to her. And she showed back up today, and she's skinny. So she had her kittens. I don't know how many. I am not sure where she had them at. I'm hoping that she brings them to us, or that we can like just watch her and see where she goes and maybe find them, I hope, fingers crossed, before we get a rainstorm, because that I would just be like really upset. I mean, I know she's just a stray, but I kind of got attached to her. She's so sweet. She comes up and lets you pet her. She rubs on your legs. She's got the cutest little meow. She's so pretty. And we need to make sure we get this cat thing under control so we don't end up with a million cats in the yard. So I need to know where they're at. Anywho, I bought another pattern pack. And it came with two. So the first one that I did was this pigeon. Now, one thing I forgot to mention on the scarecrow. The title of that listing said no sew, which of course intrigued me. But it also said low sew. But I didn't see low sew. I saw no sew. No sew shouldn't even be in there. It is low sew. You have to sew the legs on. And if you want the hat to stay attached, which you really need to, you know, because of the straw hair, that you need to stitch on as well. And maybe get it a little straighter than I did. Anyways, so this was no sew. But I highly recommend do not crochet the feet in, sew them on after the fact. This was very cute. The pattern comes with a beanie for the bird and a scarf, but I was like, why would you want to hide the pretty colors around the neck? So I didn't feel like this needed it. Not this particular one. Now you're supposed to make separate white circles for the eyes, but right away I was like, why? So in the round, I went ahead and did a puff stitch and just stuck the eyes in like the safety eyes in like that, so that, I don't know, so I can be different, make life easier. I used brights again for this. Actually, I think I used brights for everything I made this time. I did. I certainly did. Light blue, denim, ballet pink, and the key lime, I think it is, for the green. I have no idea what size this would come out to in Perfect Chunky, but it is a decent size. And this will probably be a $15 to $20 item. Now, because I didn't do the hat and the scarf, it'll probably end up being closer to $15. but I really do think it's cute. It sits nicely on its own. The wings were definitely done different. I think it was pretty well written. This is Perry the Pigeon by Hugurumi. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced because of the way it is spelled on Etsy. It's capital H, lowercase u, capital G, U-R-M-I, so Hugurumi. I always thought maybe it was Hugurumi, but I didn't want to say Hugurumi. She has some cute ones on there. So Perry the Pigeon. And that same pattern came with another one. And it's a fall item. Pretty much. Fall. Yeah, definitely fall. It is Perry the Turkey. This one I did do the hat because he really looked like he needed something. So I did the hat. The hat I used Premier Plush, and I believe this is a little bit of Home Slim. Just to give it a different texture. Now, basically, this bird is the same pattern as this bird, but there is definitely a size difference. And that is because this caramel was very thick. It is not like the other caramel that I've been using. It's just thick and stiff. So that slowed me down a little bit on this one. Then I believe this is lemon yellow, tangerine orange, and then poppy for the wattle. And again, I did the same thing with the eye. I just did the puff stitch instead of making a separate circle and having to glue or sew or try to get the little eye post through 2 thick layers of yarn. And this time I did wait and sew the feet on. On the pigeon, I crocheted them in, then I cut them off and remade some and sewed them on because it was way off. I think that this designer does yarn over, and with my yarn under, it like throws the tension off and makes things come up out of alignment. So I had to do a little bit of frogging to straighten that kind of stuff out. But it wasn't bad, so I know now what to watch for when I'm making these. I'm hoping they sell well. I mean, I'm not like, as a consumer, I'm not one to buy holiday-themed items because I can only use them during that certain time of the year. As a seller, I feel like I need to have a little something. So like fall themed, I have a turkey. Halloween themed, I have a few items, which I'm not going to really make more of unless what I have sells and I still have markets left that aren't going to be canceled because of weather, if you know what I'm saying there. So, but something like this, and I would imagine you could sit there and take this same pattern and do it in black and white and gray, and then you'd have a seagull. Just saying. I don't know. It's something, I was attracted to this. Or that, the bird from the K-pop Demon Hunters got the 3 eyes. I think it's a crow. If you did it in black, maybe added a few rounds to the head you could fit the 3 eyes in it, and maybe like come out a little bit longer with the wings. But this is almost the perfect shape for that bird, just from the pictures that I've looked at. Maybe it's an idea. It's worth a try. In order for me to test that out, I would definitely have to have a picture open to look at to know where do I want to do color changes at. But I think Perry the Pigeon is a nice pattern. I think Percy the Turkey definitely needed his pilgrim hat. And that is all I finished since Saturday, since Sunday. Yes, since Sunday. That is all I've finished since Sunday. And I'm probably not going to get much more done. Like I said, I'm charging my lights. We have to, when we were putting the canopy away at the last market, one of the pieces of the plastic at where the joints, where it folds and the canopy pops up, you have a piece of plastic on this side and a piece of plastic on this side of the metal, and it's held together with a screw. The screw came loose and this piece popped off. Luckily, I saw it when it happened, and we were able to retrieve the piece. So we have to still at least see what type of screwdriver. I think it is a star tip. And if nothing else, take screwdrivers with us so that we can tighten that up, so we don't have more canopy issues. Those things are a pain in the you-know-what. So, yeah, charging lights. Got to charge my square. Got to make sure my square will connect to the iPad or my phone before we leave. I mean, I was able to get it, figure it out after the fact. On Sunday, I think it was, I was messing with it, and I was able to figure out, okay, I had to like restart the actual square thing itself, and had nothing to do with the iPad or my phone. It was all that. So I need to make sure that that is correct, that my cash box is correct for my bank. Not that I need much, because everybody pays me with cards. Price a few things. I don't have that much. Price a few things, and yeah, then I'm good to go. So we are getting there. We're getting there. Anywho, I will hopefully see you guys on Sunday. Hopefully. No live Friday night. Heather and I will be live on Monday night on my channel right here, Knotting Hook Crochet. And then the other videos hopefully will get back on schedule. We shall see, because now we're coming into, I have a market tomorrow. I'll have a market the first Friday of October. I do not have a calendar. Let me see when that is. Do I get a week off in between? Or how is that going to work? I don't know. Come on. Need a calendar. Whatever. Calendar. Where is calendar? Maps. Weather. Calculator. Sure. There's no calendar on this one? Come on. There should be a calendar. Oh, that's right. iPad is not Google. Let's just see. Okay, so, oh, that's good. I do. No, that's not what. That's Saturday. Okay. So it's the 25th already? Oh my goodness. So I've marked it on the 26th of September. And then the 3rd of October. No. Well, that's going to be a dead market. Okay, so my one market is the 2nd and 4th Friday of the month. Oh, okay, that won't be bad. I thought it was on Halloween. I was going to be like, that's going to be a dead market, but it's not. That'll be, so I have the 26th of September, Friday, October 3rd, Friday, October 10th, and Friday, October 24th. So we have a lot of markets coming up to definitely keep me busy. So yeah, hopefully things stay on schedule. If not, you guys know why. I know you guys get it. Okie dokie, we are going to see you later.